On a more serious note, though, I actually am curious what got you into precious metals? Is owning precious metals like silver and gold the best thing for security? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you blast that subscribe button and get the bell notification clicked. That way you get updated with any new content. Recently, we saw what happened with FTX, a cryptocurrency trading platform. It was the third largest trading platform, and I think it was behind Binance and Coinbase, if I'm not mistaken. And essentially what's going on is because of the lack of regulation when it comes to cryptocurrencies, you've seen this company lose billions upon billions of dollars of investors' money. And that kind of brings me to the point of owning silver and gold. Now, silver and gold has been a store of wealth and a hedge against inflation and a way to kind of lock in your savings in a safe and secure way. It's physical, you can hold it, it's tangible, it's got intrinsic value, it's used in various industries, and it's beautiful. Also, you've got the collecting aspect to it. I mean, there's a whole host of reasons as to why silver and gold continues to be a really good way of saving your money and also remaining safe from risky investments. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but one thing that everybody can say is essentially the most important thing and one of the best things that you can do when it comes to investing is to diversify, right? You don't want to just have all of your money in silver or all of your money in gold or all of your money in stocks or all of your money in cash. You want to kind of have a blend of all the different assets possible. But when it comes to cryptocurrencies, you're talking about some major risk there. And, I did dabble in it a little bit and made some money and I got out at the right time. But to be honest with you, I still do not trust it. Now, I wanted to ask Steve what his thoughts were on stocks, on crypto, and what's the best type of silver and gold that you can be stacking, and also what got him into stacking silver and gold. It's very interesting to say the least. And when we hop back here, I'll kind of just share a quick story as to what got me into stacking silver and gold. On a more serious note, though, I actually am curious what got you into precious metals. Like, what got you fascinated with coins and stacking?
Really, it wasn't until I got older and I started making real money, working in corporate America, working as an engineer. I had enough money to actually dabble. I was pretty much a poor kid my whole life,
right?
So I never really had the money to really, at least I didn't think so, But I didn't know much about it until I got older anyway. Once I had enough money and I got serious about coin collecting, and then I started to, with coin collecting, you're rubbing against people that are buying the metals. And then I seen that was going on, and I like the metals. I always wanted to hedge, Plus, right. I have that little bit of the mentality,
right?
I don't trust the stock market, frankly.
I mean, I don't know if you've been following what's just happening recently with cryptocurrencies and FTX, but essentially billions upon billions of dollars just wiped out, and
that's why I don't like the market, honestly. That's too much of a risk for me. That one day it's there and the next day it's not.
I agree.
I just really have a hard time. Don't get me wrong. Do I have a portfolio? Absolutely, I do. I worked corporate for many, many years, so.
But it's very
still sitting there.
Different owning stocks in actual companies.
Yeah.
That actually have, tangible assets, buildings, overhead, like as opposed to, a digital coin or token that people just say, hey, this is worth this much because I believe it's got that value.
Yeah, exactly.
No regulation.
Yeah, so it's tough. That was my biggest problem with the crypto, with anything. I'm not a stock guy. It's just not what I do. I'd rather have physical.
Yeah.
I was buying gold at $1,000 an ounce. So, look at it now.
Right.
It's been that's been over a course of 15 years. But listen, I know that it's in my hand and I can sell it right this second.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that it's so liquid and you don't have to wait a few days. There's no paperwork involved. You just do what you got to do and you instantly have your cash.
With the more recent months, I would say, with the stock market kind of being on the downward trend. I mean, yes, obviously it goes up and down.
Yeah, right now it's crazy high though, right?
Yeah, but have you seen any I would say like customers that are saying, you know what, they're cashing out any retirement and like portfolios, and they're just moving it into metals?
I have people that are cashing out part of their portfolio. I mean, definitely. I mean, I have people that have cashed out 20%. You know, they get and they buy some gold with it.
Yeah.
They're trying to diversify. I think that's very smart. Honestly, I did the same thing.
Are they
older? Out of
older?
corporate. Yeah, they're all older. Almost everybody that's doing that I know is older. People have asked me many times, like, what is my opinion on it? That's
up to them.
That's not an easy question to answer, right? So I don't know what your tolerance is. I don't know what your tax bracket is. I mean, all that has a pretty big effect on, you know, how much do you have put away? You know, I mean, these are questions that I'm not comfortable asking people, but this is something that you need to think about.
Right. Now, I know that a lot of these people are probably moving out of those, those investments because they're a little bit riskier. And so they're moving into metals because they feel like you said, it's tangible, it's tried and true, it has value, they can hold it. So there's like a little bit of that, like, comforting.
Yeah, again, it really depends on how big your portfolio. Like, in my opinion, is the smart way. If you have enough, you have a decent chunk sitting there, that when retirement rolls around, you're going to have something to lean on. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily mean enough to necessarily retire on, but it's big enough where you say it's a nice chunk of change. If I take, I don't know, $20,000 or $100,000 of it out, is it going to make a significant difference on the overall picture? And if it doesn't, then I think it's probably a good move to maybe liquidate some and put it into metals. But there's other things that go with it. It's not quite that cut and dry, right? So, right, when you cash it out, you're going to have to deal with the tax part of it, and that could be rough.
Absolutely.
Rough. So it really I can't really answer that question for people, but
yeah,
if it's there and you can do it and it's not going to have that big of an impact on you, I think it's probably a smart thing to do.
And I get asked very similar types of questions. What type of gold should I buy? Should I buy silver? Should I buy gold? I'm like, really, every person's situation is different. Comes down to preference. Comes down to the money. Comes down to
when it gets down to silver. When you buy enough silver, that's going to have a decent impact when the price goes up. I mean, if you have 10 ounces of silver and the price goes up, who cares? You know what I mean? It's not enough money to really think about.
Yeah.
But if you got 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 ounces of silver, now you have enough silver to actually make a difference if the price significantly jumps.
Right.
But 3,000, 4,000 ounces of silver is heavy, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You aren't moving that in one shot,
no.
I guarantee you.
Essentially, Steve likes the movie Lethal Weapon, and that's what got him into liking Krugerrands. I was thinking that maybe he had some sort of story of like his great grandfather, taking him to some, coin shop or something, and ever since then he's been fascinated. No, he likes the movie Lethal Weapon, and I guess Krugerrands is what's stuck in his head. For me, I've talked about the fact that Scrooge McDuck and seeing cartoons of Scrooge McDuck as a kid kind of got me into liking gold and stuff like that. But also it was more of like a more recent thing where my grandfather had passed away, and I inherited just a small amount of silver rounds. And when I started researching the silver rounds, I ended up finding out more information about precious metals. And so here it is, Scrooge McDuck. So I decided to get into stacking, and I never looked back. It's just such an awesome hobby. But here's my Scrooge McDuck. So I could say, it was a combination of, Scrooge McDuck as a kid, as well as, inheriting a bunch of stuff from my grandfather after he passed away. Like I said, I think it was like 120 silver rounds. So that's kind of what got me into stacking. I'm curious as to what got you into stacking, and also why do you continue to stack? Is it because you're weary of the stock market? Does crypto scare you? I'm just kind of curious as to what keeps you continually stacking silver and gold. Let me know in the comments down below.